lot of people whispering in his ear, feeding him these conspiracy theories and allegations. And I felt that being...
Former acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donoghue testifies before the January 6th committee this week about President Trump in the days before January 6th. Adam Schiff is a member of the January 6th committee and is a Democrat from Burbank. Congressman, welcome back to The Issue Is.
Good to be with you.
For people that didn't watch every second of this testimony, what is the most important takeaway from the week?
Well, we had two big hearings this week. The first profiled largely Republican elected officials, Republican House Speaker in Arizona, Republican Secretary of State in Georgia, who talked about the pressure campaign put on them, how they refused to violate their oath, how they wouldn't simply recalculate the votes in the case of Georgia, where the president had asked the Secretary of State to find 11,780 votes that didn't exist. And then in the second hearing, it was top Justice Department officials talking about how they were being pushed to embrace these false claims of fraud to the point where the president was ready to fire the top leadership and replace it with an environmental lawyer, an unqualified lawyer from within the department who would simply do his bidding. And it was the threat of mass resignation of basically all the top leadership of the department. That was the only thing that stopped the president from abusing the Department of Justice as part of that plot.
That lawyer you're talking about is Jeffrey Clark. We want to play more of Richard Donoghue talking about a conversation he had with Jeff Clark about the Justice Department's meddling.
He was defensive and, similar to his earlier reaction when I said this is nothing less than Justice Department meddling in an election. His reaction was, I think a lot of people have meddled in this election.
Jeff Clark's home was raided by the FBI this week. Did you have any heads up on that? And what did you make of that?
I certainly had no heads up about it, and I wouldn't really expect to. The Justice Department operates quite independently. In terms of what to make about it, I think that the Justice Department certainly seems to have a sense of urgency now about these events. Mr. Clark, as we demonstrated in the hearing this week, was involved in trying to get the Justice Department to send a letter to Georgia, among other states, making claims that the Justice Department was concerned about serious allegations of fraud, all illegitimate, nothing the department does. It would have been a corruption of the department. And it just goes to show you that, sadly, you can always find someone willing to do the dirty work, willing to violate their oath of office.
A lot of the Republicans have not exactly argued with the substance of what you're saying. Their basic point is like, who cares? There are more important issues. There are those who say that gas and inflation is way more important. Polls seem to show that. The president called for a federal gas pause. Do you agree with that? And should the state do that?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, for Republicans who say, who cares? They're basically saying, who cares that the former president, the head of their party, tried to overturn the presidential election? Who cares if laws were violated? Well, I care. I think most Americans care. They don't want to see us, our democracy turned into some kind of authoritarian regime. So people do care about this. Now, they also care about their pocketbook. And yes, I think the federal gas tax should be suspended. Weeks ago, I proposed a bill that would do that, and it would pay for it with a windfall profits tax on oil companies. Oil companies right now are gouging us. That is accounting for a much bigger part of these price hikes than the federal gas tax, which is about 18 cents a gallon.
So if you believe in that and President Biden believes in that, why aren't the other Democrats on board? Is this going to get done?
There are a number of members with different proposals for how we ought to accomplish this. So whether it'll be my bill or look like my bill or be a different approach, I can't say. I can't tell you this is what I favor. But I agree with the premise of your question, Alex. If it's good enough for the president and Adam Schiff, that ought to be good enough, right?
All right, let's end. We always like to end with something fun this week. How was your birthday week?
I had to work until about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night on my birthday. So there wasn't much celebrating on the actual day. But Eve is taking me to see To Kill a Mockingbird, the play. So I'm very excited about that. And that will be my birthday present.
In a different interview with me this week, you said that your favorite movie of all time is The Big Lebowski, which surprised a lot of us. So we end this week not with music, but with a special clip from the dude for you.
The dude abides.